time for the Straight Up Wrestling Show.
Yo, what's up? This is HBT with the Straight Up Wrestling Show. I'm with my man Christopher Burton,
the People's Podcaster. How y'all doing, y'all?
And guys, we are coming live. We are at Harris Teeter. We are at a grocery store.
Yeah.
And basically, hey, we just in here to talk about wrestling. I know a lot of you out, a lot of you out here, a lot of our people are watching AEW right now. AEW Dynamite, but that's not what we're doing. Like I said, we are at a bar in Harris Teeter grocery store, and we're just gonna basically talk about wrestling, guys. We're gonna talk about, the WWE. We're gonna talk about AEW. We're gonna talk about TNA,
the Indies.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about the Indies, and we're gonna go into some old school wrestling.
Talk
about the territories. Hey, it's not that it's about my favorite. We're talking about wrestling in general.
Yeah.
So we're not just gonna talk about what's going on today. We're gonna talk about everything as far as wrestling goes, and how everything correlates to today, and how it comes into today, and
we're gonna talk about a little gossip, man.
Yeah,
what's going on?
So we want to see how wrestling gonna sustain, because hey, back in the day, it doesn't matter what anybody say, doesn't matter how many times the WWE or AEW or any old school wrestlers, I hear with these podcasts try to say that it's more popular today than it's ever been. That's not the truth. That's not the truth.
Yeah.
So we're just going to talk about every single thing, but we're going to start off right now with things that's happening in the new school. I see Will Rally Sport is in the house.
Yep.
I see Lucas is in the house.
But
yeah, we will be talking to you guys a little bit here. Is that who's that? Magnum is in the house. We appreciate you being in the house too. But yeah, we're gonna go over a lot of things here about pro wrestling. So we're gonna talk about the legends and things, and we're gonna be talking about the current new school, what we have currently in the new school of wrestling. So we're gonna be talking about that too. So we got a few subjects that we're gonna go over straight up. And I see Missy Childers is in the house. What's going on, Missy? Glad that you are joining us. All right, but Chris, let's talk about wrestling today, man. What's going on with wrestling today? So we're gonna start off with the WWE.
And the biggest news on that, man, obviously Charlotte and Jey Uso.
Well,
that's the talk of the town.
Well, yeah, that is the talk of the town. As far as Charlotte and Jey Uso, but as far as WWE, the current state of wrestling. Now we know the WWE is now on Netflix.
Yep, worldwide.
Worldwide. As far as Raw is on Netflix, and we have SmackDown still on USA.
Yep.
And we're looking at the numbers, and Chris just looked at the numbers. They did 2.9 million worldwide this week. On Raw. Last week they did 3 million. Now the first week that they was on Raw, I think how many weeks they've been on now? 4 weeks or 5?
Yeah,
since January 6th. Okay, January 6th, 4 weeks.
Yeah, 4 weeks. Yeah,
the first week they did 5.6 million. The next week it dropped down to like 4 something. I don't know what it was, and I know it was 3 million last week, and this week it's 2.9 million. Now it continues to go down. It continues to go down. So I know a lot of people want to, might try to get out here and make excuses of why it's going down, but it is a reason that it's going down. And we just had Rumble. Now this is just the day after Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
In the attend. I mean, I guess you could say attendance. Yeah, attendance was great. But as far as attendance, as far as people watching at home, viewership, it went down worldwide.
Which is odd, man.
It
is
odd.
I don't even know why. Okay, usually after a big pay-per-view,
right?
You want to see the backlash, the repercussions, and all that.
Numbers going up.
The next live show,
right?
But this has been kind of teeter and tottering, man. Like it's good, then it's bad. It's good, but
right.
It's like it's like it's bipolar. It can't make up its mind.
That's true.
But we want to know why that is.
Oh, there's no doubt about that.
That's the question. Why?
Yes. It's. I'm not going to sit here and say it's strange.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna tell you exactly what I've seen as far as since we've been doing the Straight Up Wrestling Show. We've been doing the Straight Up Wrestling Show 3.5 years now, guys.
Yeah.
And from the get-go, when we started doing this, and I'm looking at the trend of wrestling and the way it was going, the projection of wrestling. All I can see is it going down. I mean, I saw it going down, but what I have seen now, the WWE, now they could have made a move to where they could have grown. But
Yeah.
to be honest with you, when I look at, I look at everything as far as storylines go. No consistency in storylines. Now, the whole time we've been doing this,
Yeah.
in the 3.5 years we've been doing this,
Chris Thunder Anderson.
what's going on, Chris Thunder Anderson? How many? Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
What's been the best storyline in the 3.5 years we've been doing this?
Best storyline? The best storyline, I would probably, oh gosh. I would probably say when AEW first came out to give WWE competition.
Well, that's 5 years ago. They've been around for 5 years.
Okay.
I'm saying the 3.5 years that we've been doing this.
3.5. Wow, that's a tough one, man. I don't know.
We got to go with the bloodline. Okay, that's been the best storyline.
Yeah.
What's the other? What's the number 2 storyline?
Judgment Day.
Judgment Day. Okay, those are the 2 top storylines that we've seen in wrestling. But can you think of a third storyline in 3.5 years? Now, can you think of a third storyline that's going to be legendary? Now, I'm compared to old storylines. Let's go to the old school.
Okay.
Now we can come up with a lot of different storylines.
Oh yeah. Man.
Okay, first storyline. I can even go back to the 70s, and then like I say, go to the 80s. Storylines that made it across to where we're at now. But I'm gonna go ahead and start at the 80s. Roddy Piper, Greg Valentine. Roddy Piper against Greg Valentine ended up
match.
The dog collar match.
Yep.
Ended up in Starrcade. We still talking about that till today.
Yeah.
Also, Tully Blanchard against Magnum TA. I quit match. Still good, talking about that today.
Yeah.
Let's see. Man, it's just so many. The Road Warriors versus the Midnight Express. This is in the 80s too.
Yeah.
The scalpel matches. We're still talking about that today.
Road Warriors, Spike and Dusty.
Yeah, Road Warriors, Spike and Dusty. Sting getting kicked out of the Horseman. We still talking about that stuff today.
Yeah.
What do we have in wrestling right now that we're going to be talking about 20 years from now, 30 years from now? What kind of storylines? We can't even think about anything that the 3.5 years that we've been doing this. We can't think of anything outside of those 2.
That's crazy.
Storylines that's been really significant in the world of professional wrestling.
That's crazy, man.
I mean, okay, we look at Roman. He had the belt pretty much almost the
4
whole time.
4 years, almost 4 years.
Basically, almost the whole time that we've been doing this thing.
Yeah.
And MJF had the belt. Remember, he had that belt. Now, I kept telling y'all he needed to defend that title. He need to defend that title.
He was on that Roman Reigns.
Everybody say, he don't need to defend that title. He's like the special dude. Harry, he's like the special guy. He don't need to defend his belt.
He wanted to be like Roman Reigns.
And I told you, and what happened? Everything just kept dropping.
Yeah.
As far as, people watching it, you saw that, every single week, the viewership kept dropping time and time again. And MJF coming out there just talking talking. Everybody say, he can talk so good. He can talk so good. But you look at the numbers, the Nielsen numbers. Every time he got out there and started talking after a couple months, people would turn away. They would turn their TV off. I don't know if they was going to the refrigerator, grabbing something to eat.
They were doing something.
Or what, but they was turning their TV off. The viewership, the numbers, it told.
Yeah.
It told. So I'm just looking at things.
And let me ask you about this.
Yes,
now, you talking about Roman Reigns and his title reign and, almost 4 years.
Right.
Only defended like 6 times, or 4 times, whatever. Cody's at 300 days at the Rumble. I think it was 300 days.
Right.
He's only defended it 8 times.
Right. Exactly.
And some people calling this the most boringest title reign ever.
Oh yeah. Well, you see, they're gonna do that.
Harry. So I don't know, Harry. What you want to talk about, Harry? See, I don't get it, man. I think they're trying to just do old school tributes by having long title reigns, but not necessarily having any substance to go with them. But they just want to have a long title reign, but not any substance behind it.
That's true. There is no substance behind it, and not at all. The Cody Rhodes could have a legendary run as the champion if they knew how to book it right. There is enough people that's in that company. There's enough wrestlers in that company,
Oh, good Lord.
and enough quality wrestlers. I'm talking about top tier wrestlers to where you can make this guy out to be, I'm not gonna say right on Flair's level, but he can
close.
be, close. He can be up there with Harley Race, Terry Funk, Jerry Briscoe, Hulk Hogan, Bruno Sammartino. Yeah, exactly. Even his dad, Dusty Rhodes. You can compare his run with them if you schedule his title run the right way as far as his opponents.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about making legendary feuds.
Yeah.
Legendary feuds. Now, like I said, there's enough wrestlers there to where you can have legendary feuds.
Yeah.
One thing that I've seen in the 3.5 years we've been doing this is that people want to look at these wrestlers today. If they're the champion, they say, okay, well, Roman Reigns say when he was the champion. Okay, Roman Reigns, he done dethroned Seth Rollins. Roman Reigns done beat up Drew McIntyre.
Yep.
He pretty much he beat let's see, Bobby Lashley. Say everybody that he beat, people be like, oh, he already beat them. So what else? When back in the day, how many times did you see Hulk Hogan defend that title against King Kong Bundy? How many times did Ric Flair
some kind of feud or something?
A feud. How long was Ric Flair's feud with Ricky Steamboat? How long was Ric Flair's feud with Sting? How long was his feud with Lex Luger? How long did he have a feud with Magnum TA?
Heck, I can't even say Vader.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what made him legendary. His feud. He had a feud with Ricky Morton for about 2 or 3 months.
That was crazy.
For some reason, these wrestling fans today, for some reason, they have got in their mind to like, oh, okay, well, I just seen the Motor City Machine Gun. They just now lost against DIY. Well, that's over with. Who's next for DIY? So it's ridiculous, man. It's really ridiculous. You can't build anything.
Wrestling fans now they don't like redundancy.
Exactly.
They don't like redundancy. So if I'm Cody Rhodes and I've fought Kevin Owens already, okay, I beat him for the title at the Rumble. Okay, now has my angst toward Kevin Owens, has that subsided? Has my feelings toward Kevin Owens subsided? Obviously so. I beat him. But now, Lord forbid, somewhere on down the line, a couple of months later, Kevin get that itch and start barking up my tree again and want to fight me again for the title and stuff.
Right.
And people gonna be like, man, we already seen this.
Exactly.
Even though it's only been like 4 or 5 months, we already seen this.
You cannot.
And they just, I don't know, man.
That you will never, as far as wrestling go, because when it boils down to it, it's only so many elite superstars, and it doesn't matter what sport it is.
Yeah.
And I still consider wrestling a sport. Doesn't matter. There's only a certain amount of superstars that you're gonna get.
Yeah, you're right.
And it doesn't matter what it is. So in wrestling, it's just how many more people can you have to come up and vie for that title.
Exactly.
Before you're gonna run out of superstars, run out of people that this person can face. Because once you run through that WWE roster, what are you gonna do? You're gonna say, call up the indies.
Yeah, and then
and bring up as many people as you can to try to fight for that title.
Because when Cody won the belt, they were already like, well, what they gonna do with Cody? He got the belt. Oh, they're gonna give him Roman sloppy seconds. The people Roman done beat, they gonna feed him to Cody.
Yeah.
I'm like, but okay, who else y'all got though?
Yeah. And see, that's
the dilemma. Who else y'all got?
Yeah, see, that's the reason I say it is not Cody's fault.
No, it's not.
As far as this title run and people want to say it's boring, it's not Cody's fault. I mean, how many times did he wrestle AJ Styles? Look like they were starting something with AJ Styles. It was one match. Boom, it's over with. It should have. AJ Styles is a great wrestler, top tier, A+ wrestler.
Yes,
that should have been a feud.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, look, you had 3 big matches with Seth Rollins.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, but you had matches obviously in between them.
Yeah.
This one they were still running more house shows, obviously.
Right.
But yeah, you had a big blow off with the 3 matches, and those were some good matches.
Yeah, no doubt.
Those were some good matches.
Shinsuke Nakamura, remember Shinsuke?
Oh, man,
they put all that money and everything behind that those promos, those vignettes that they was doing,
yes.
they was great. It was outstanding.
Yeah.
Shinsuke Nakamura, they should have built him up to be a great Muta. And this dude could have Great Muta he could have been like the Great Muta when the Great Muta had that great feud with Sting. That's how that thing could have played out.
Yeah.
But you know what? The WWE's like, well, we're gonna have Cody defeat this guy, and that's it. And then we're gonna be looking for the next person that he's gonna wrestle. It don't make no kind of sense.
I don't get it, man. I don't know if I would have to say creative. They could book, more people for Cody Russell, get that sense of redundancy.
Right.
Like, okay, like you said, Shinsuke. Wrestle Shinsuke, have a couple of matches, 3-4 months, and that, move on to the next thing.
Oh, yeah.
And then maybe toward the end of the year, bring it back.
Oh, yeah.
But see, the thing is, creative don't have that thought process. They were like, okay, we got to work on this. We got to work on this. We're working on this. Okay, we got it. We're working it. We're finished. We're done. Let's go to the next thing. And then you got a pile of old ideas you could revamp, twist around, and move around, and refresh it and bring it back. But instead, they just keep moving, and eating through that roster.
Right.
I mean, pretty soon, what you gonna have? Apollo Crews versus Cody for the title?
Exactly.
And that ain't gonna make no kind of sense.
Okay, let's look at it this way. Okay, now how many days you say Cody has had that title?
At Rumble, they calculate about 300.
300 days.
8 title defenses.
8 title defenses. Okay. Now, of course, he should have had plenty more title defenses.
Yeah.
But feud-wise, Cody should have been he should be on probably his 3rd feud right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Out of 300 days.
Out of 300 days, he should be on his he should be on his 3rd feud. He should have had a feud with Shinsuke Nakamura that went 3 months. Should have went with at least AJ Styles a couple months with him, and then he should be on his feud with Kevin Owens like a couple months there. But that's the way it should be going.
The longest one he's had was Seth Rollins.
Yeah, and they don't, like say it went 3 matches or whatever. But yeah, he definitely that started it off, right?
Yeah,
that should have been at least I say at least 3 months with those guys. And of course, Cody, and you have Cody wrestling. You have Cody taking on somebody. You have Cody taking on somebody like Giovanni Vinci, or somebody like that, where he. Yeah, even Kaiser, Apollo Crews. What was the other
Kaiser? Kaiser.
Yeah, Kaiser. One of these guys right here. He's dropping these guys as he's still wrestling Seth freaking Rollins, but he's wrestling these guys in between. He's knocking them down. But you still got the big matches. Even at house shows, you can have him showing up wrestling Seth freaking Rollins. They get 7 to 9 matches out of that feud. And I'm talking about outstanding. You can have the house shows to where you can play. You can come back and show that on Monday Night Raw or SmackDown and say this is what happened at the house show. They
don't do that no more. Man.
I know, but they could do that and make him great, man. Make him legendary. But it's all up to the WWE. That's what people don't understand. It's up to promoters. Back in the day, Jim Crockett made those. Jim Crockett and his people around him made those guys great. Hey, Mike Graham made his people great in Florida. Ole Anderson made his people great in Georgia. Vince McMahon Sr. made his people great up in New York. Vince McMahon Jr. did the same thing. Bill Watts did that. He made his people great down in the Mid-South. So that's what we need in wrestling today, man. These Triple H and all of them with the being indecisive on what they want to do. It has no place in wrestling, man. No is as much about that.
I mean, granted, you got a lot going on. You got a lot going on. You're trying to think about this, but you got to handle the business of this, and that.
Right.
So I get it. Your mind's all over the place. I get it. I completely understand. But that's why you have a creative team. And Triple H is in Vince's position, so you get the final yay or nay on what they come up with. You get the final, okay, that sounds good. We're going to roll with that. Nah, we ain't going to roll with that. We might look at that. That ain't working. Okay, but still, matter of fact, you were talking about AJ Styles.
Right.
AJ Styles, man, when he won the title, he won it at a house show here. And that was the first non-televised.
Outstanding, man.
Not non-televised. And that was, I think they said at the time, the first time in almost, I think at that time, almost 14 to 20 years since somebody won a title at a non-televised
And you
show.
know, Ron Simmons won the world title when he beat Vader. It was at a house show. And I mean, look, man, and then they showed it on TV, you know, and when he won it, everybody went around him. It's like winning a Super Bowl, man, back in the day.
Yeah.
That's how it was. That's the way they used to, you know, pretty much play these things. Ric Flair beat Dusty Rhodes for his first world title. It was at a house show. Man, you got to make it special. You got to make people think, okay, if I go to a house show, you don't want people to say, oh, this is what I expect. No, you want people to see things at a house show. You want to shock them.
Yeah,
they might come up there. And you may see a world title change at a house show, man. So
and honestly, that was one of the things you be like, okay, they're not bringing Raw, they're not bringing SmackDown, but they're bringing a house show,
right?
And the champion's gonna be on the show,
right?
And they say the title's gonna be on the line. Oh, he's facing Drew. There's a possibility Drew might take it.
That's exactly right.
And if Drew does take it, I'm just saying that for example, bro, that man.
Yeah, it's gonna explode.
That's historic.
No doubt.
That those kind of moments don't happen anymore.
Yeah,
everything's got to be on TV now.
Yeah, and this is the last thing I'm gonna say. We're gonna say as far as about Cody Rhodes is this. That's the last thing I got to say about it. Is a fuse. The rest of your company feeds off of fuse. If you have great fuse, man, everything else trickle down from there, and you're gonna have an outstanding. Your cards, everything is gonna improve.
Yeah,
because people are focused in on that, so they're excited about everything else that's around that.
Exactly.
So yeah, basically, So right now, like I say, we're gonna move on over, and we're gonna talk about. Let's go ahead and talk about what's going on as far as Charlotte Flair, and Andrade.
Yeah, man, I hate it for them, but the word is they
split. They split up.
They divorced him, man.
That's pretty sad. And from what.
And then there were rumors they were trying to possibly have a kid at one point.
Wow.
So I don't know, man. That's not.
Maybe they thought that was help save the marriage, or whatever.
That could have made it worse.
Yeah, that's true. But one thing that I do think that's going to come out of this is that Charlotte Flair is going to go hard as ever as far as in wrestling. But then you have that thing. Then you have the element of people not wanting to see Charlotte anymore. They're tired.
Yes. That's another thing, because another thing that's happened too is that on the YouTube page, WWE's YouTube page, Jay and Charlotte's Royal Rumble victory has more dislikes than likes.
Wow. So yeah, we will talk about that. We're gonna get into the Jey Uso thing too. But first, let's talk about Charlotte. But right now, man, Chris, let's go ahead and try to get some comments, man. I mean, let's go ahead and try to get some comments, because we definitely don't want to leave anybody out. We appreciate you guys coming in, but mostly with this, we will be talking, guys. So like I said, it's gonna take time for us to get to your comments.
And I ain't gonna lie, man. Harry, they even said when we were talking about Charlotte, this is her third marriage.
Wow.
Already.
Wow, yeah, and people saying, she competing with her dad. I know. I've seen that. It's crazy.
Man, goodness, that's bad.
It really is crazy.
So first in the room we had Lucas in the room. He says, "Howdy, what's going on, Lucas?"
Lucas, how you doing, buddy?
All right. Second we had Raymond Underwood. Hello, Harry.
What's going on, Raymond?
And then next we have Real Rally Sports. Says, "Hi, Harry and Chris. I'm just watching Dynamite myself. You at the show?"
Yeah, what's going on, Will Rally Sports?
Show, man. We're not at the show.
We're in a bar, man. We're
in a grocery store at a bar. All right, Lucas says, "Link." No, not tonight.
No, not tonight, Lucas. We can't do that.
Raymond says, "Hello, Chris. What's up, Ray?" Will Rally says, "Hi, guys." Magnum says, "Greetings, Harry and Chris."
What's going on, Mag?
Missy Childress is in the building. Says, "Hey, guys."
Hey, Missy. How you doing?
All right.
I'm about to call you a little bit later.
Roxy says, "Hey guys, Roxy Watts in the building."
What's going on, Roxy?
All right, Missy says, "Are we going to talk about something, some local shows?" Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Definitely going to talk about some local shows. All right, Lucas says, read our comments. We get into it, man. We get into it. Missy says, "We're straight up, right?" Yes, we are.
Yes, we are. No doubt.
And I'm sorry about my camera freezing. I don't know what's going on. This thing's been acting a fool all week.
Mhm.
All right, Chris Thunder Anderson says Mrs. Childress is not in the house. She's in the car.
That's what you was laughing about.
Yeah, that's what I was laughing
Okay.
about, man. All right, Cherry. Lucas says send his link.
Mhm.
All right, Chris Thunder Anderson said the one where the guy was mad and the other guy, and they got into a big, huge fight. Oh, wow. Chris Thunder Anderson says that's my favorite storyline. Chris
Okay.
Thunder Anderson also says old school story was the two guys that got mad at each other. The two guys had a huge fight in a cage.
Oh yeah. That's one thing. Let me go ahead and expand on that. Like you said, Chris, man, old school when they used to do that. A cage was
That was
an
the
end all.
Yeah, that was the end all be all.
It was a great feud that happened, and to culminate to finish that thing.
Yep.
To be a completion was putting them in a cage or doing something great like putting the lumberjacks around them or something like that.
Yeah.
It was something
something you don't see every day.
Exactly, but now those kind of matches just pop up. They just do random things and it don't make any sense.
Exactly.
And so what was so great about that, like I said, it was a finish. What we don't see in wrestling today, and what really gets me upset, and we're gonna talk about the indies too.
Yeah.
Is as far as wrestling, I don't see any finish. I don't see any completion going to what we're watching.
Mhm.
So we're just basically watching wrestling to be watching wrestling. Back in the day, I watched wrestling because there was a completion to everything. As far as when a great feud happened, I knew it was a completion. There was going to be a Super Bowl at the end of this thing.
Yeah.
Just like we watch the NFL because we want to see that Super Bowl at the end.
Yeah.
We watch the NBA because we want to see the NBA championship at the end.
Yep.
We watch baseball because we want to see the World Series at the end, and we watch the NHL because
we want to see the Stanley Cup.
We want to see the Stanley Cup at the end. We want to see a completion. That's why we watch wrestling. That's why wrestling was so great and it attracted so many people back in the day. You want that thing. You want it to be a finish.
The culmination.
Exactly. We don't have that today. And that's one thing. It drives me crazy. It really does.
Man.
All right.
Magnum says, you said it, Chris, there's no substance.
No, it's not.
All right. Got a viewer on Twitch, man.
Okay.
Snorting Cone.
Oh, yeah, Snorting Cone. Yeah, we come in every now and then.
Said, where y'all at? We're at Harris Teeter, a grocery store, and we're at a bar inside the grocery store.
Right.
Think about that one for a minute. A bar inside a grocery store.
And this is an outstanding grocery store.
Yes, it is.
Outstanding grocery store.
Good.
They out of North Carolina, Harris Teeter. So if you never heard of them, check them out.
Good chain. All right, Black Rain says, what's up, guys?
What's going on, Black Rain?
All right, Lucas says, I want that link. You want that link?
I'm sure you do, Lucas.
Yeah. All right, Black Rain said, I just heard of that murder INC guy died. Rest in peace.
Oh, wow.
Ja Rule or Irv Gotti?
Irv Gotti. Yeah, Irv Gotti was in. Yeah, I know he's in the hospital.
Irv?
Yeah,
Irv?
yeah.
Oh,
50
wow.
Cent. 50 Cent been mocking him today. 50 Cent's been mocking him.
That sounds like something 50 would do.
Yeah. 50. Yeah, he's petty, man. He's been mocking him all day. But I didn't know Irv Gotti passed away, man.
Wow, I had no idea about Irv, man. That's
Goodness
crazy.
sake, man. Wow.
Irv, man. Wow. Rest in peace to Irv and prayers out to his family, man.
Yeah, definitely prayers to Irv Gotti's family. And it don't matter what somebody
crazy.
done. I never wish death on anybody.
No, man.
Or
like
any
Biggie
ill
said,
will,
like, ain't no coming back from that.
Exactly, any bad health on them or whatever. Even if they are somebody that I, that
dislike.
Yeah, that I dislike. That I don't have. I don't hate anybody. But man, like I say, that is crazy.
54 years old.
God,
wow, man.
Wow, I'm older than him.
That's
wild. 54 years old.
God, Irv,
yeah, that don't make no sense, man. And Irv Gotti, hey. You make all this money and then you don't have a chance to really, really enjoy it.
Yeah,
it's horrible, guys. I mean, I know he had a stroke and then he had another stroke, and that right there. So I guess that second stroke pretty much basically took him out.
God, that's bad, man. That's
wow.
Bad.
Rest in peace to him, and man, and prayers and blessings out to
definitely.
all his loved ones. And I hope the Lord, comfort all of them and give them understanding.
Yeah,
crazy.
Black Rain said, "Wow, the blonde extensions came out on Dynamite." LOL. Oh, sounds like somebody had a wardrobe malfunction.
Okay, he probably talking Tony Storm or Mariah May or somebody like that.
Magnum says that Black Rain, true that.
Yeah.
So here, man, I'm still that got it.
All right, but yeah, going back to Charlotte Flair, like I say, Charlotte is as far as Charlotte goes. I don't think if they if they go another direction instead of trying to push her toward another WWE championship. Like if she comes in and get into something with somebody and maybe have 2 or 3 people at her, she gets her a partner and becomes the WWE Tag Team Championship. Win the WWE Tag Team Championship.
Something different.
Something different. And do the 4 women, 4 women or whatever. But first, like I say, go ahead and do the women's tag team. Have a tag team with another woman and make them a great tag team. Give us another top tier woman, or give us somebody that's coming up that she can build up. Somebody that's going to compliment her. And it's going to take a little bit of time to find that person who compliments her, and then have them go on a run.
There's only a handful of people that can actually keep up with Charlotte, man.
Exactly. But why not make that person Charlotte end up making that person great? Because I remember Sergeant Slaughter. Now I'm going to go back to Sergeant Slaughter. When he brought in Don Cornotto. Don Cornotto was he was a jobber. He was on George Soft's level. George Soft level.
Wow. Sergeant Slaughter?
Don Cornotto was.
Okay.
Sergeant Slaughter, he came in and Sergeant Slaughter said, I like what this guy's doing and everything. I'm going to make him my first private. He became Private Cornotto. And they ended up winning the world championship. That was back in like 83. 83. They took the belts away from the second greatest tag team of all time, in my opinion, Ricky Steamboat and Jay Youngblood. They went, and I couldn't believe it because I'm like, Sergeant Slaughter is a great wrestler. He's a top tier wrestler, but he made this guy who was, like I said, he was a Danny Brown, Italian Stallion, George Soft type wrestler. Wow. And he made this guy an incredible wrestler.
You know what, man?
And speaking of George Soft, I'm pretty sure George Soft knows who I'm talking about. And a lot of old school people know Don Cornotto, and he made him great. He did the same thing with Private Jim Nelson. Nelson made him a great wrestler, and he built them up as a tag team. Charlotte can go in, maybe go into NXT or somebody.
She was on NXT last night.
Yeah, exactly. She can grab somebody even if she don't get on NXT. Like she can grab what's that little short girl, man? That's Ivy Now. She can team up with Ivy Now, and they can win the World Tag Team Championship and just dominate. Yeah. For 7 to 8 months, that would change the perception of what's going on with her. And then she can surround herself with maybe 2 other people. Yep. And then they can have that 4 horseman type thing.
Even Cora Jade even came back last night, man.
Oh, Cora Jade, cool.
Yeah, Cora Jade came back last night.
Yeah, see, she can have Cora Jade. She can bring her into the fold with her, but she definitely can do something totally different. And then later on, she can come back and win the world championship, maybe about 14 months from here, or a year and a half from here.
You wrong for that, man.
Everybody started getting hungry again for her to see her in singles competition. She's pretty much pushed to that. She loses the tag team championship. She looks down and everything. Everybody else is successful in her faction, in her group, but she is the one who's successful, as far as beating a lot of people down, but she's not vying for the championship. Mm-hmm. And finally she, somebody who has the championship comes out and challenge her and says, I want to challenge the legend. I want to wrestle the best. And I guarantee you people will look at that and say they won't want to see that because we haven't really seen Charlotte in singles competition, or she really haven't been vying for the title. She just been wrestling as this top dog person and wrestling in tag team matches and everything like that. But you got to reinvent her.
Yeah, but they just automatically like, boom.
Yeah, we're gonna put you in the championship.
Automatic.
Exactly.
And people they're tired of her, man.
Yeah.
They're tired of and yes, Jay Uso was over with the whole yeet thing and all that mess, but that was not the right choice to win the Royal Rumble.
No, exactly. So I'm gonna veer off that to the middle here, as far as off of Charlotte for a minute. I'm gonna stay on that, but I'm gonna veer off. Okay. And so, goodness sake, I kind of lost my train of thought. But when you're not when you're not trying to do something like that, you're not trying to them WWE what they're doing, like you said, if they by them pushing her and trying to push her to the forefront already and put the title on her, it's a money grab thing. So that's what I wanted to get to. As far as WWE, of course, it's all any business is about making money.
Yeah.
I have no problem with people making money, but taking your eyes off the product to put money on the bottom line. And that is a problem with TKO Holdings coming in and buying this thing. By them being,
but that could be, but you can say that with any company.
Yeah, you can say that with any company. But like the whole thing about it is, why do you go into business? I done told you this plenty times before.
Yeah.
Plenty times before, I done told you, you go into business to serve the customer. Okay? But you can't serve look, I can go in here and say, we can come into this bar right here. And just like my man John just went up and bought a Blue Moon.
Yeah.
Say, what's your favorite beer?
Mine is Guinness.
Okay, Guinness, but hey, they put it in cups, glasses here.
Yeah.
Okay. They take that and they say they water it down a little bit more than what you used to getting.
Yeah.
At a place, or you used to getting as far as you taking it home.
Yeah.
Now they anytime you get it from tap, they're gonna water it down. But say they water it down 20% more than you're gonna get at a bar down the road.
Wow.
But what you're gonna be like, hey, I'm not gonna come here, and then other people, they're not gonna come here.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. They watered down the product. Mm-hmm. You don't water down the product and then charge people even more.
Yeah.
Because I was looking at there was a poster today that I actually pulled up. Let me pull this poster up. Let me look at this, and we're gonna talk about this, guys. Let's see. There was a poster that I pulled up. Okay, this right here, Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling, guys. Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling, Jim Crockett Promotions. Thursday, January 23rd, 1986. The Gathering on tour. It's called at Columbia Township Auditorium.
So they're in Columbia, South Carolina.
Yeah, they had Ric Flair versus Dusty Rhodes. Okay, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. That was the main event. The co-main event was Magnum TA versus Nikita Koloff. The match before that, Jimmy Valiant versus Tully Blanchard. They had the match before that one was the Rock and Roll Express versus the Russians, Ivan Koloff and Crusher Khrushchev.
Yep.
Okay, the match before that, they had Ron Bass versus Thunderfoot. Another good match, pretty decent match. Match before that, they had Sam Houston versus Stan Lane. Match before that, they had Pistol Perez Watley versus Mike Davis. Okay, that's 8 matches. All right, and let's look at the ring size. Reserved ringside, a ringside seat back then was $20. This 1986. Okay, $20. All right,
ringside.
All right. Then it was $15.
General admission?
Not general admission. $15 for the balcony, first balcony. That's what usually we go in, the first balcony. Yeah. $15. $10 for reserved, and children 5 and under. 8 and under was 10 and under was $5. Okay, I looked at inflation. What $20 is today compared to what $20 was back then.
Okay,
$20 today, $57. Are we going to get a ringside seat for $50? This is a great card here.
Yeah,
this is a great card.
I would have paid $57 for that.
Exactly. Are we going to get a ringside seat today for that?
Man, you probably want to get in the building for $57.
Yeah, $15. I forgot what it was, like $48 or something like that. But
man, $15 want to get you in the parking lot
like
now.
$40-something. But how much we spent on them balcony seats, man?
almost $300. Man.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm trying to say is that they gave us high quality stuff back then
for less.
For less. And now we're paying more. And, the WWE is going up even more because they done shut down the house shows. They done shut down them for the most part, and they're going to give us less.
So a lot of towns that would have been able to see WWE,
SmackDown and Raw, it's not going to get them till later on.
And then, even then, you probably got some shows, some cities, some towns that used to just get house shows every once in a while.
Right.
Non-televised events. they might not even get them now.
Yeah, and you look at the matches now. I mean, week in and week out, we getting the
4
same matches. Yeah,
4.
we got 4 matches in 2.5. It's supposed to be they supposed to be doing 3 hours on
2.5 hours.
on Netflix. They doing 2.5 hours, but we getting 4 matches. The rest of it is talk. On Raw,
Yeah.
3 hours. We getting 5. We had 5 matches the last 2 weeks. On not Raw, but SmackDown.
Yeah.
We've had 5 matches. I think in the first week that they had it on SmackDown, 3 hours. When he went back to 3 hours, it was 4 matches.
That's good.
In 3 hours, guys. 3 hours.
And that's not including commercial breaks.
Yes. So who is the one who's telling them to do this? And you see all the advertisement in the ring.
Oh, good Lord.
It's all about money. It is a money grab. And I agree with Chris as far as any company would do that. They're going to try to make as much money as possible.
Yeah.
But they watered the product down to where it's just basically it's basically like a ripoff. You robbing your consumers. You your loyal fans. You are grabbing them. It's a money grab.
Yeah.
So let's go on over to Jey Uso, man, and talk about him. Because look, Jey Uso. I know a lot of people out here, Chris. There's a lot of reasons of people saying that. Some people are equating it to race, saying it
ain't got nothing to do with it.
It has nothing to do with race. He had a promo. He just had a promo. What was that? Monday Night Raw. Promo. It was basically all about the yeet thing, and the promo was horrible, guys. It wasn't a good promo.
I mean, he was emotional, granted. Yeah.
Yeah, he was emotional.
But then sometimes I was thinking,
it was too long.
It looked fake too.
Yeah, it got to the point where
it looked like he was trying to force himself to cry.
Yeah, right.
And I was like, is this work? Is this real? I don't know.
Yeah, and look, and like I said, I definitely don't.
I didn't care for it either way.
Yeah, I definitely don't think it's racist. His cousin is Samoan, so it definitely has nothing to do with that. And people want to say, they go to this quickly now in wrestling. He deserves it. You deserve it.
Oh yeah, they do that quick.
You deserve it.
They do that quick. Okay, so the man been in WWE and wrestling almost 20 years. Okay, 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he's okay. Most of that was tag team. Majority of that was tag team. Majority of that was tag team. Okay, yes, the man done paid his dues. He came up from FCW, the NXT, the WWE, and all that. They've come up through the ranks. But what really gives him the true right for us fans? Well, what gives us fans the right to tell him he really truly deserves it? When this man hasn't been a singles champion, he has been a singles champion, but he hasn't been on a singles run long enough for us to say, "Oh wow, this man done been through some fire."
Right, and yeah, he just had a U.S. title run. I mean, not U.S. No, Intercontinental title run, and he had that belt for 5 weeks. I think it was 5 weeks, and Braun Breaker took it back off of him.
Yep.
If you wanted to give him a run, that was the time to give him a run. Look, I have no problem with the WWE capitalizing on his popularity.
Yeah.
That's only smart. That's smart business.
Yeah, because T-shirts and merchandise.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Same thing they should have done with was LA Knight.
Yeah, LA Knight. Oh,
You
yeah.
capitalized on that popularity.
Yeah.
They waited late for both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're building it back up for Jey. But the thing is this: we have seen Jey now for the past 5 or 6 months as a solo wrestler. So I'm looking at his skills.
Rinse, repeat.
Yeah, and
Wash,
plus,
rinse, repeat.
yes, and plus I'm looking at his skill level.
Uh-oh.
Okay, it's getting a little dark up in here. But yeah, I'm looking at his skill level, man. And I don't see the skill level to pretty much say, hey, this guy's a world champion. Now, I know what the WWE has been doing for the past, say, since John Cena, after John Cena lost it.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, they've been putting just throwing titles on people.
Yeah.
It's his turn. It's his turn. It's that person's turn. One thing I loved about wrestling back in the day, you didn't have to just be good on the microphone.
No.
You had to be good in that ring.
Oh yeah.
You had to be very, talented
and
to
see,
be
that's
a
what,
world
see,
champion.
And that's what John Cena did to Roman Reigns.
Right.
When Roman Reigns was trying to get built up and Vince was shoving him down our throats.
Right.
And John literally cooked him in that
the
promo.
microphone. Oh yeah.
And he was like, look, if you want to be good at this, you gonna have to talk.
Oh yeah.
You gonna have to talk. And he was like, say what you gotta say, I'll wait. But you better make it quick. And I mean Roman was just like,
He got his cousin too.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
He was just like, you know, I mean, but look what Roman became though.
Oh yeah.
He had to go through it. You know?
He did. Yes, he did.
But Jay, like I said, phenomenal tag team wrestler.
Oh, great.
I have no problem with that whatsoever.
Look,
but in my opinion, he still got to go through some more stuff to get to that echelon of singles.
Right. And I'm gonna tell you like this. I don't really see it.
Not the way they're booking him. I don't see it happening.
Look, I don't see it. And like I said, you can book somebody like Jey Uso, and you can pretty much, if you choreograph his matches right, you can make him a superstar. I mean, he's good enough to be that. I mean, he's already a superstar.
Yeah.
I mean, you can make him look
a megastar.
You know, like a megastar. You can make him look like a better wrestler than what he actually is. Because all we see is he got a good uppercut. He throws that uppercut. I mean,
super kick,
a super kick,
and a flying splash.
Yeah, exactly. That's all he has. So
and a spear,
nice spear. But man, you got to give us more than that. You just do. He's an outstanding tag team specialist, tag team wrestler, and I don't think it's over between him and his brother as far as the tag team. As far as they was shorted. They was as far as the tag team. The tag team, as far as the Usos, one thing that WWE has not done for them, they have not built up a tag team division to where it's going to make these guys even look better than what they are.
Exactly.
Because they are one of the best tag teams that I've ever seen. But you can make it special for these guys to where somebody like Jay and Jimmy won't want to do anything except for tag team. If you make your tag team division special the way it should be.
But they're not doing that.
Yeah, and you definitely can do it right now, man, with the New Day, with the stuff that they're doing. You bringing in, you got Penta there. You got to bring in Ray Phoenix and put those guys back together and have that as a tag team.
Now that's gonna spark some
yes,
stuff.
and you definitely can do something with Motor City Machine Guns. Even with the doggone DIY, you can do something with that. But there's so much potential in there for great tag teams. Tag teams to pretty much challenge these guys that somebody like the Usos have to go through, or the New Day can go through. You can actually revive the New Day through this. But man,
it's so many.
Bronson Reed, you could put Bronson Reed in a tag team with somebody, and it could be something special.
Could you imagine him solo?
Yeah, him and Solo Sikoa would be a great tag team.
Or even him and
don't say Fatu. Please don't say Fatu.
Nobody.
Yeah, Jake. Yeah, not Fatu, but him with something. Yeah, but you can put him, like I say, you don't have to. One thing about making a great tag team, you don't have to put somebody who's sinister with that same person. You know what I'm saying? That's the reason why I'm Jacob Fatu was doing that stuff the other night. He coming out there, he's attacking people. Yeah. Remember I said you just cracked up and I said, I was like, is this Bronson Reed? And you just busted out laughing because he's doing the same thing that Bronson Reed is doing. That's what I'm saying. Even
though he's way more athletic.
He's more athletic, but he's doing the same thing. Okay, Bronson Reed is out of action, so they are just putting what they was doing with Bronson Reed onto Jacob Fatu. And right there, so that right there to me is just lazy booking. You guys are not thinking creatively to what we could do with this guy.
Yeah.
And even though what you're doing is getting him over, but the same thing that I'm seeing Jacob doing as far as attacking people and decimating them, the same thing Bronson Reed was doing. All right, man, let's go ahead and get to the comments, Chris.
All right, let's get some of these comments, man. All right, so Black Rain, man, he had a comment on here.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on here. My stuff keeps freezing. I don't know why. It's just ticking me off. He said, Max said, well, we know what surgery Charlotte didn't have was a BBL.
I didn't want to go there, man. Look.
Man, hey, me
Boy,
and
that yellow skirt was holding on for life. Like,
hey, man, me, Chin in competition for the longest back in history.
Hey, and look, one thing about Charlotte, man, I don't know. Maybe I think she needs to do squats. Now she works out a good
Oh, yeah,
bit,
she works
but
out
she
now.
needs to do some squats, man. There's no
It might,
doubt
it
about
might
that.
be genetics, man. It might be genetics.
Yeah, I'm sure it's genetics. It's definitely genetics, but yeah, it's still something that she could do to help out back there. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, she's trying to make herself more attractive, but yes, that's part of a woman's anatomy that everybody's watching now. So
Yeah.
but you know, hey, she's never gonna have it.
that's baby.
Yeah, exactly. That's Bailey, straight up. Yeah, she's never gonna have it, but hey, it is what it is, man. You know?
Meg said, "I'm sorry, Chris, I couldn't resist."
It's all right, man.
It's all right, man. You good, man. Black Rain said, "Man, who was that guy with Swerve bring back Slick or Teddy?" Oh, he talking about Prince Nana.
Oh yeah. Oh yes.
Yeah, Prince Nana. Yeah. Jack Salem's in the building. What's
Jack
up,
Salem, what's up, Jack? Good to see you,
Hey
man.
guys. Mac Madam says, Black Rain, are you talking about Prince Nana? Yep, that's who he's talking
Mhm.
about. Black Rain said the Usos are nice, but they lose points with me stealing the Dudley's finisher.
They asked
Yeah. I'm sure they had to ask, man. That's the proper way to do
Oh
stuff.
yeah.
Because when the Dudleys wrestled Kane and Undertaker,
Yeah.
and they were like, hey, do you want to kick out of our finisher? Because nobody's kicked out of the 3D when
Right.
the Dudleys did it. Out of the 14 to 20 years they've been doing it,
Right.
nobody's kicked out. And they went up to Taker, and they were like, hey, do you want to kick out? If you do, we respect you enough, and you got enough clout and pull,
Mhm.
you can
Oh, yeah.
do it.
Right.
And Taker was like, no, I don't
Mhm.
want to kick out.
Right.
Because he's protecting their image.
Oh yeah.
He's like, it's been 14 plus years, nobody's kicked out.
Mhm.
Why should I, even though y'all think of me in such awe and everything, which,
Right.
which Taker has earned that spot to do
Oh, yeah.
so, he's like, I'm not going to do it because that's something that you guys hold near and dear, and I don't want to be the guy to ruin that. So if y'all put it on me, I'm not kicking out. And
Okay.
they were like, we can respect it.
All right. Man,
So,
wow.
you know, yeah.
Okay, let's go to the AWA, Chris. Let's talk about AWA a little bit.
The
I know-
AEW.
I mean AEW,
I was like, so you want to talk about Vern Gagne,
yeah,
man?
Vern Gagne, the American Wrestling Association. All right, sorry about that, guys, but yeah, AEW. Let's talk about AEW a little bit. I know we haven't been covering it as much as we used to.
Yeah,
You know, I actually wanted to do it tonight. Now, as far as AEW, they did have a little uptick. They had got up under 600,000. They jumped back up to 600,000 since they have went to Max. Okay.
Okay.
Now, last week they went back down. They went down from 636 to 636,000 viewers, 604. Now we don't know what's going on Max. Max is not giving any numbers.
Gotcha.
Now, they are basically at the same thing as far as their numbers wise that they were as far as on TNA. I mean TNT. And what's the other one they own? TNT and TBS. They basically had the same numbers.
Wow.
That's
great. How you gonna be on a streaming service and still have the same numbers you get on regular TV?
Well,
That's
exactly.
crazy.
Well, my thing is this: if you're not,
that's crazy work, man.
I was looking at as far as streaming.
Yeah.
Their fan base over in AEW's fan base was either some of them was gonna take off and go and watch it on the streaming service, and then they was gonna, fandom was gonna drop as far as on TBS and TNT.
Yeah.
But it did. It picked up just a little bit, but now it's dropping back down. Okay. Now, are they gaining new fans?
That's a good
over
question.
on Max?
That's a good question.
Now Max don't want to put out anything about them. And look,
That might be smart.
And Max is not a priority. You go to Max, you don't see it. You gotta search for it. It's not on there. It's not a priority.
So it might be smart that they ain't putting no numbers up there.
At first they was putting it up there. We got AEW.
Yeah.
But now it's not a priority.
They see the numbers, man.
Exactly. So I'm wondering how many people are watching on Max. Maybe they're getting 20,000, 15,000. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I know they're not getting big numbers. Because when Netflix have gotten to the point where they pushing back because they looking at Raw because they even thinking about Netflix they thinking about their deal. They reconsidering their deal with the WWE right now. I think they're going to continue to pay them that, but they're going to
renegotiate it some kind of
way. They do not like that thing is not generating what they did the first week. They don't like that, man. I'm like, look, hey, okay, you got the contract now. But one thing you got to do, you got to go in there and perform.
Yeah.
WWE, like I say, they were like, okay, we got the money,
but still,
now, hey, we're gonna relax and do our thing.
But Netflix is like, okay, you got our money. Mm-hmm. Now, where's our return and viewership and profitability for us?
Yeah, so I'm wondering how long.
That's a hard place to be because they don't keep dropping other stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Netflix are continually putting things on, so then they're not going to play around with this thing. Let's see, AEW, AEW over there on Max. Max, of course, they in the same. That's the same company with TBS and TNT, but they're going to look at it after a while. They're going to say, hey, look, man, we can put something else in this place. We don't need this on our streaming service. If they pull that off their streaming service within a year or so, that's going to look very bad for Tony Khan.
Yeah, it is.
And as far as that company, and if they mess up, if they start losing money for that streaming service, because everybody's losing money as far as in streaming. Oh yeah. Everybody's trying to make money. Now, if they're losing money by that, then it's going to affect.
Okay. So,
hey,
I'll say that. Yeah, but they are losing money, man. And if they do that, guys, that's not good, guys. That's not good at all. That they're losing it, man, because that's gonna look very bad. And then obviously the I ain't gonna say the boo birds, but the critics are gonna come out even harder, more so than they have been before. They're like, oh, you tried to do something new, but it didn't work. Now look at you. You try streaming, and you can't even succeed at streaming. It's not good, man. That's not good at all.
Streaming exposes whether you really got a dedicated fan base or not.
Yeah, and they do got a dedicated fan base, but most of them are just old jaded WWE fans. They want to get away from Vince, and they saw something new, and they just want to stick with it, in hopes of possibly WWE going out of business, which is never going to happen. Max says, speaking of AEW, the main event match between Swerve and Ricochet was 3 stars. Okay, wow.
3 stars?
Okay. And Black Rain said Ricochet didn't job. Ooh, okay, so Ricochet went over. Black Swerve ain't never had. Swerve done been lost that belt. Yeah, Swerve done been lost.
Okay.
Black Rain said, have you seen that OJ doc on Netflix? No, I have not. I'm going to have to check that out. I'm going to have to check out that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to have to check that out.
You finished up what we were talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool. But yeah, man, this is very interesting as far as, like, say, AEW and the direction. We definitely want to see AEW succeed, but man, they got to
find a formula, man.
Yeah, they got to find a formula. They have got to get a whole.
They need to call DLC.
Creative control. Tony. I know he's out here booking. One thing about Tony, and what I think Tony has gotten, one thing I think Tony has got caught up into is that remember when we first started watching it, he's putting on these great pay-per-views.
Yeah.
I mean, the card was outstanding.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as
the matches, had some 5-star matches.
Yeah, a lot of 5-star matches, even above that, man. Yeah. Great matches. Yeah. And everybody talks about it. Everybody raves about it. Oh my gosh, those matches are so good. Mm-hmm. And then you go back. Then the next thing you know, that Wednesday night comes up, and it's a crap show, and the ratings are awful because people are turning away from it. And the next week, awful show. And then you like, man,
then a banging pay-per-view.
Yeah, then you like, what happened? We just saw a great pay-per-view.
What was the disconnect?
Yeah, and see, and Tony, he got 2 bookers of the year straight, back to back. And he was saying, he's such a great booker, and a lot of it came from what's that dude, man? That Dave Meltzer, just building him up.
Yeah, Uncle Dave.
Yeah, Uncle him up, and everybody, he's the booker of the year. He's this, he's that, and
not necessarily.
And and I saw the problems from the get go. From the get go, I was like, I remember because Me, you, and my king, and I remember y'all like, man, hey, they definitely did. It's good. We was all talking about how good it was. I said, yeah, man, it's good. I wasn't watching it. I watched it the first 5 or 6 weeks when Chris was telling me AEW was starting. Cody Rhodes and all these guys, man. The Young Bucks, all these guys are going to start a new promotion. And I was recording it and everything like that. But I just basically stopped watching. And then 3.5 years ago, they had been in business about a year and a half. And me and Chris, Chris and Michael King, we started this podcast. And basically we was watching it. And Chris and Michael, they was really into it because it's something. It still was new, very new. They were still into it. And, they was asking me, what did I think? I said, man, it's great. I love what they're doing. I said, but I see problems. And I said, they need to fix it right away, guys. Within the first few weeks, what I saw was I saw great matches, but I saw no concentration as far as on storylines or anything as far as building character building. I didn't see anything as far as character building. None of these guys. I mean, you had some great wrestlers like MJF. I thought he was cool, and I thought what he was doing with Chris Jericho, because at that time it was the Jericho thing. I think it was the seven walls of Jericho. Whatever
Jericho
it was.
Society or something like
Yeah,
that.
Jericho. Jericho had to go through some kind of gauntlet to wrestle MJF or something like that. MJF had to go through something.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was, but I'm looking at it, I'm like, this is great, but I saw no concentration as far as, like, say, character development. And you had guys who you could have built to be a major character, like Powerhouse Hobbs, Brian Cage.
Yep.
What's the guy? The Murder Hawk Monster.
Yeah.
Lance Archer. I'm like, man, these guys are great. But, like, say, what they was doing was just running these guys out, having a quick match, and you wasn't making them guys out to seem like they're special. I'm like, okay, this Lance Archer guy, you can make him into, basically like a Blackjack Mulligan, Undertaker type dude, man. You can make that kind of mystique out of him if you did it right.
Yeah.
But there was no concentration on that. Now, and then they end up, I see what's his name was hanging out. He was the bodyguard for MJF. What's the dude name?
Oh, jeez.
Let's see. God, man, I had it in my head.
I did too. It just
Warlow. Yeah, Warlow. Okay, so Warlow. What did they do with him? Okay, we've been watching this about 5-6 months. Okay, Warlow he fell out with MJF. Started going that powerbomb, and everybody was all into that. I'm like, okay, he's powerbombing people. All that stuff looked good at first, but he was beating up all the security guards. I'm like, okay, all these security guards coming up, time running in. He just powerbombing everybody. I'm like, man, this is beginning to look real stupid. I was like, please stop this. I'm begging. I'm like, please stop this.
Crazy.
After the first 2 weeks, I'm like, please stop this. But they continued on with it. People lost interest. And I'm like, that right there goes to the lazy booking. Yeah. No creativity in it. Yeah. And it just wasn't WWE. I mean, it just wasn't AEW. It was WWE to a certain point too.
No imagination.
Yeah, no imagination, no nothing. At that time, Vince McMahon kept going back in and changing things. Like they'll have Monday Night Raw. He would change it before the show even started.
Yep.
So when you look at wrestling today from the WWE standpoint, AEW standpoint, it all trickles down to the independents. And that's what we're going to talk about next, guys. What the indies do. When me and Chris, we started out, as far as in these indies, every time we went to an indie show, that's all we saw. We was watching WWE, AEW.
Yep, it was a smaller, low budget WWE, AEW.
Yeah, they was copying them. So people go out to the indies so they can have something a little bit different than what they're seeing,
or want to see something. Different.
They want to see something different.
But unfortunately, you're seeing the same thing, but it's sometimes a lot more chaos.
Yeah, a lot more chaos, and it's basically a copycat. And see, they see, and one thing as far as chaos. Now I'm gonna put it on AEW first because AEW was full of chaos. TNA too. Now I was watching TNA a good bit. They full of chaos. The indies took it to another level. Yeah. To a certain point. Chaos. And he's like, oh, are people gonna come back? Because they would do something special, and I seen them. They would come in. me and Chris, we were doing a lot of commentary at that time at different places. Harry and Chris, man, what you guys think? What you think? We think the crowd really got into it, and man, people are gonna come back. We got to continue on. And then the next week they got even more chaotic. They was copying what AEW was doing. Then the WWE even started doing more and more chaos. And what I see now is, especially the WWE uses that as a storyline. Okay, if I put a lot of chaos out here, people are going to talk more about this chaos than they're going to talk about our product. If they continue to focus on the chaos, we don't have to worry about building a storyline. The chaos is the storyline.
Like you said, lazy booking.
Ridiculous.
Man. Lazy booking, man.
Ridiculous. And the thing with Bronson Reed, man, let's look at Bronson Reed. What was the storyline there?
I don't know.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. What was the storyline? Chaos. Yeah, he was Samoan. How many different people did he attack?
Tons.
Exactly.
To end up in his brother.
Yeah, exactly. How many people you going to be upset with? Braun Breaker. Okay, Braun Breaker. What was he doing when he first came? When they pulled him up, spearing everybody.
Yep, spearing everybody. Yep.
Running around acting like a fool, just spearing the crap out of somebody. I mean, everybody. I'm like, man, are you going to focus on somebody that you don't like? So I'm like,
give us something, man. It's and like you said, on the indie scenes, man, it's like some of these rosters on the indie scenes are so small, they try to fill gaps, and that's the way they fill them by putting in chaos, because you don't have enough wrestlers or enough matches or ideas. So you're like, okay, let's just fill in the gaps with chaos.
Yeah, exactly.
I can see that on the indie level.
Yeah, the WWE has so much talent that's sitting in that back room. And I'm like, catering.
Oh, they're gonna be making cuts.
Man, I remember back in the day, the WWE would come on. I'm talking about when Vince McMahon Sr. had it, even when Vince McMahon Jr. had it. They come on 2 hours. It was 2 hours on 10 matches. 10 matches. I used to watch SD Jones take on SD Jones will take on Dominic DiNucci. And then after that match, I would see Rocky Soulman Johnson and Tony Atlas take on the Samoans. And after that match, I would see Bruno Sammartino pretty much taking on, pretty much take. I don't know who in the world. I ain't gonna say a name, but like I say, he would take on somebody. After that, what's that?
My wife asked me, she was like, we were watching the Attitude Era
Mm-hmm.
and Raw, and then we watched one on Netflix, and she was like, why did this one seem longer? I was like, because back then they just did more matches.
Yeah.
Like,
They would just roll out matches. And the talking, I mean, you might have a promo on the side there or whatever, but most of the talking, it was just the commentators, and then you have wrestlers, they will have a little spot. Hey, Ric Flair, man, Roddy Piper, those guys didn't need 20, 30 minutes to get their point across.
No.
And they considered the best talkers in the game. And Dusty Rhodes get out there, man. He's gonna have a 15, 20 minute, hey, what's going on, daddy, and everything like that. And he's gonna talk his stuff, and boom, that's it. Mm-hmm. And that's what made them so special, man. It's just wrestling, right? It's just off.
Yeah, and
completely off.
Speaking of the indies, man, it's a shame that I'm just gonna say this, that we just can't get along.
Yes, yeah, definitely. Most definitely. We can't get along, man. It's
the pie is big enough for everybody to have a share of the pie, but everybody just wants their own pie.
Oh, there's no doubt about it.
The slice of the pie is already prepared. You want your own pie.
Right. And you have people talk about other people. You have jokes talk about they tell other wrestlers don't go wrestle for this other promotion. And it's not just in the Carolinas. I'm sure it's everywhere from what we're hearing. Yeah. We done been to Georgia. We done been North Carolina, South Carolina. We done been different places, and it's everywhere. These indies, they just can't get together.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's enough talent to make a territory to where everybody can eat. Yeah. But you know what? These guys can't eat.
They want their own pie.
They can't eat because you got these promoters out here, man, that just they want to be kings and they have nothing. Because when me and Chris first came in here, and me and Chris, we pretty much got hired to help out a promoter. Mm-hmm. As far as booking and doing some things for this promoter. Everybody, you had these promoters get upset with me and Chris, and they came on a podcast. The guy wanted us on his podcast. We went on a friend of ours podcast, and then all these promoters came on and started attacking us. But these guys,
Like
the way
we was in the wrong.
yeah, the way these guys was acting, and they was talking about the promotions and everything. The way they was acting like they had another WWE, like they had I'm not even they was acting like they was on Jim Crockett's level, like they had a Mid Atlantic Championship territory or Georgia Championship Wrestling.
That's
They
the mindset,
act like they was
man.
on that level.
That's the mindset. I
Exactly.
don't know why.
And you know what? And these guys was running a show maybe every 3 months, every 4 months, sometimes one maybe 5 6 months before they run a show. These guys but the way they was acting like man, oh my gosh, like
they were the mafia. Like you had to go through them first and get that blessing. And like okay, now y'all can be in this thing.
And look, I had no problem with if these guys running weekly. There was one company that we knew ran weekly, and we knew one that runs bi-weekly, and that company that runs bi-weekly, they are outstanding. And there's one in Greenville, man, that runs every few months, and they was running like every 2 months at that time. Great, outstanding company. But we never heard anything from them. They never try to dog me and you out. They welcome us every time we show up. They roll out the red carpet for the Straight Up Wrestling show. The other one that we went out, that the other one that I'm talking about down the road.
Did the same thing.
Same thing. But for the most part, man, most of these jokers.
I don't know why it's just I don't know why it just seems so toxic, man.
Yes, very
like
toxic.
There's enough for everybody to go around and have their own piece of the pie versus just trying to have your own pie and everything. And then you're like, oh, if you're eating from my pie, you can't go to there. You can't go over there. You can't go over there because you're eating from my pie.
Yeah, and
I'm like, you really got it going on like that you can lock people down?
Yeah, and
you tell me you writing contracts for these dudes, locking them down?
What bugged my mind is the ones who.
That's what I'm just looking at in general.
Yeah, the ones that was doing it, running the shows, like I say, every 2 or 3 months, and you telling wrestlers that you can't go here and you can't go there, and like, okay, you telling these guys you can't go make money. These indie guys, they cannot make money, and the one that running weekly, that's not too far from us. They running weekly, very toxic. And like I say, they only doing 5 to 6 matches. They doing like 5 to 6 matches. I think they just upped it to like 6 matches. That's all they're doing. So you got a lot of wrestlers coming through that they don't even use week in and week out, and they telling them, oh, don't go work for them other people. Don't do that. They want to dog out the other groups, or they want to dog out one certain group.
Yep.
And it just don't make no sense, man, when everybody should be in this thing together.
And like I said, I can't reiterate enough. This independent wrestling circuit is big enough for everybody to get their name out, get their brand publicized, and everything.
Yes.
And for everybody to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a wrestling Disneyland where all your dreams can come true. Everybody just have happy endings and everything and whatever. But they won't do it. And I don't know why, if they're just scared or they just want to hold on to something that they feel is theirs or whatever the case may be. I don't know. But I mean, it just is what it is, guys. I don't know. But this indie thing, but indie wrestling as overall is great. It's great. It's a beautiful thing.
And we met a lot of great people as far as on this indie scene. A lot of great wrestlers
and
a lot of promoters. And the bottom line is most of these promoters and most of these wrestlers, I say 90% of them, great people.
Yeah,
great people. Even some of the ones that we've had beef with, great people. When it boils down to it, you meet them. Like you might have words or whatever on the internet, but you meet these people, they're outstanding people.
Yeah.
But for some reason people get into this. They get into this mode of where, like Chris say, hey, they want this pie to be theirs, and they don't want, they feel that you're grabbing something from them. And speaking of that, we can even look at the wrestling fans the same way. A lot of wrestling fans, a lot of people. Let's look at the vitriol that people have against Vince McMahon. Think about it.
Yeah,
Vince McMahon, man, have endured so much.
Yes, he has.
From fans,
a lot.
That it get to the point where it's ridiculous. Now, is he a good man? Is Vince McMahon a great man? No, he's not a great man. I mean, he's what he's done as far as in wrestling has been great.
Yeah.
But as far as
him as an individual,
him as an individual, morally, what he has done very questionable, like you say. And he has done a lot of bad things. But as far as this wrestling business, man,
he's taking it to places that folk couldn't even dream of.
Yeah, but the fans, is it really Vince McMahon's fault that wrestling turned out to be what it was? Because think about it, over the years, Vince McMahon. We're gonna come back.
Okay, here we go.
Okay,
we're back.
Okay, well, we're gonna cut. Well, sorry about that, guys, but yeah, we kind of like went off there for a minute. But yeah, going back to Vince McMahon, and then we're gonna end it after this Vince McMahon talk. And Chris, after we get the comments. Okay, Vince McMahon. Let's look at Vince McMahon for a minute here. And I wasn't watching wrestling, man. I didn't watch wrestling for a long time before we started doing this podcast. But when I came in and I saw all the vitriol, everything that people was shouting at Vince McMahon and how upset everybody was with Vince McMahon, I started, I had to start studying. I had to start thinking. I'm like, why are they so upset with this man? So many people praised him for so many years. I started thinking logically, and I'm like, okay, wait a minute. This man didn't have no competition. TNA really wasn't competition.
No.
There's so many wrestlers that have came through the ranks over the years.
Yeah.
So many different wrestlers. And people, they're more vested in a certain wrestler. People find their favorite wrestlers and they get more vested today than what we did when we were growing up.
Yeah.
Let's look at Majestic Marie for a minute. Like I say, if Majestic Marie listening to this, I'm sorry. I'm using it as an example. She's very invested in what's that dude's name?
Roman Reigns.
No, not Roman Reigns. The guy, man, over at AEW. What is his name? Not John Moxley.
Jeez. Oh God, I got his face in my head.
Eddie Kingston. She loves Eddie Kingston.
Fight me, yeah.
She loves Eddie Kingston. You
Yes.
say something about Eddie Kingston, she is really, really upset, man.
Yes.
She don't like anybody talking about Eddie Kingston.
But then too, she shared a very personable,
very personal with
moment.
him.
Yeah,
But see, I can understand her point. I can definitely understand that, and I love that. That's why she loved him. But a lot of people, even if though she done met him, certain things, and he has pretty much talked to her, and when she was really down, and
on
really,
a personal level.
But there's people that tune themselves into these wrestlers today that don't know them, never met them, or anything, and they love these wrestlers to death. Vince McMahon, he was in between a rock and a hard place. Now some of these wrestlers that he has to take these wrestlers and he has to drop them down a notch sometimes.
Oh yeah.
They may be great and they may be on a run or whatever.
Yeah.
But he got other talent that's coming up, and they end up beating these guys. And then he don't have anything else for this wrestler that's been on top for a while. People, they're very invested in that wrestler. I can't stand him no more. I'm not gonna watch no more because, and I'm sure that happened time and time again. That people are upset that a certain wrestler that was great and outstanding, they was looking really, really good,
and they got their shine, and now they don't have nothing else. And Vince like, okay, I don't have nothing else. Back to catering.
Yeah, he took him back to catering, and he brought somebody else up and started building them up, and people got really upset with him. Vince McMahon, and everything like. So they was looking for an alternative when AEW come out. Then so everybody.
And I just said that a lot of John was saying that AEW has a dedicated fan base, and I was like, yes, they do, but most of them were old jaded WWE fans.
Yeah, exactly.
They didn't like the direction WWE was going, or felt that like you said, their wrestler wasn't being used right, and they just fell out of love with them. And then they found AEW, and they were like, okay, AEW, we're gonna try, hopefully back AEW, build this up to the point where we can take down WWE, which is never, ever, ever gonna happen.
Exactly.
Exactly. But I can understand wanting something new, want something different, but it's to a degree, it was based off vitriol because of
That's true.
WWE, because of Vince McMahon.
Vince McMahon,
and
exactly.
that's why you went to AEW to see WWE fall.
Yeah, and you know what? And a lot of it
because basically you didn't have your way.
Yeah, exactly. It's Vince's fault. I mean, you got to say it's Vince's fault too. But when it boils down to it, a lot of it he didn't deserve. But a lot of it is his fault.
Does he get the final yes or no?
Yeah, he gets the final yes or no. But a lot of it is not his fault because it's not his fault that nobody else could catch up to what he was doing. So you can't blame. You can't put 100% blame on him because TNA could not become something. You know,
Juggernaut.
Yeah, he did not run a monopoly at that time. No. There's a lot of other companies that was coming up, but if their companies could not succeed to where they could bring in a whole bunch of superstars. Because see, back in the day, the territories, man, and the territories was big enough to where so many different wrestlers can go. You had Roddy Piper; he was a star out in Portland, Oregon. Out in Oregon, you know, that whole state, he was a star. You know, down here in the Carolinas, you had Ric Flair, you had the Anderson brothers, you had Blackjack Mulligan, they was all stars. Up in Georgia, you had Tommy Rich, who was a huge star. Yep. Mr. Wrestling too. Down in Louisiana, Junkyard Dog was in Hacksaw Jim Duggan was the biggest stars. Up in New York, you had Bruno Sammartino, Bob Backlund, Superstar Graham. They was the big stars up there, man. So everybody was a star in their own right, you know, in their places. And even when you went down, if somebody started taking you out, you start losing popularity. You know, those promoters were so good. They were like, I'm gonna send you down to Florida, down there with Mike Graham, and then you catch fire down there too.
And reinvent yourself.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, you don't have that. You know, Vince did not have that. Vince, I'm sure he did not want to take. He didn't want to take, you know, Dolph Ziggler and say, okay, now you done had 2 world title runs, and but
had tag team titles.
You done had all the success, but now I got to make you a jobber. I'm sure he didn't want to do that.
Yeah,
I'm sure he didn't want to do that, but that's what ended up happening. And I'm sure a lot of people love Dolph Ziggler.
Dolph is
outstanding wrestler.
Outstanding.
You know, but I'm using him as an example. And the Miz had a huge run, and then had to become a jobber. But I'm
he
sure
was a world champion.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure that Vince McMahon did not want to do that to him either. But he had no choice after a while because all these other people were coming up. But he had no other place to send them. You know, and whose fault is that? To a point, it's Vince's fault too because he crushed all the competition and all the great promoters that was running back in the day. And everybody that came up in wrestling, every little territory, every little indie promotion that started, who was they copying? The WWE.
That was all they had.
That's what they see. That was the blueprint. So they copying that. And the TNA was copying them to a certain point. Only thing that TNA had that was different than WWE was the octagon ring. Exactly. That was the only thing that was different. They copied them in every other aspect of the business. They was trying to copy them. Yeah, and then with Hulk Hogan came in when he brought Eric Bischoff in there.
That became a WCW.
Yeah, she brought Bischoff in there, Hulk Hogan and all them. Yeah, they tried to do this WWE thing and it did not work, and I knew it wasn't going to work.
And it became a WCW.
Exactly. So I mean, to a point. You know, first I'm gonna blame it on the wrestling industry as a whole. They couldn't catch up with what he was doing, and of course Vince has some blame because he went out there and he just dominated everybody.
Yep. To the point where nobody could come back.
Yeah, and when he did that, he put himself in a position to where I'm gonna control everything in wrestling.
Yeah, he controlled the whole narrative.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it from my standpoint, and you know I want to be the only one in business. But when you do that, you are telling people, hey, man. Watch my shows. Every one of my shows is going to be great. Everything that we do is going to make sense. You know, you're going to love this. You know, you're not going to have no foolishness. You're not going to have people that look like they're great and outstanding, and then they start losing. You
get complacent too on your creative.
Exactly.
Your creative juices get very complacent. You're like, okay, I can do this. I can do that. I can do this. I can do that. Because guess what? I'm the only ticket in town. Wrestling fans are going to watch me no matter what. I can sweeten it up. I can make some BS look like, you know, Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah.
You know, but when you get down to it, what is it? It's actually BS.
And you know what? He would have been all right if we didn't have the internet. If we didn't have social media. He would have been all right if we wouldn't have had that. But
And the
We have
Undertaker even said it.
Yeah.
The internet killed wrestling.
yes, it did. Yes, it did.
The internet
Because
killed wrestling.
everybody started voicing their opinions. Everybody
And
got
getting
pissed
dirt
off.
sheets and
Yeah, exactly.
and getting inside news.
Yes, and that's another thing too. Let's go to that as far as wrestling exposing the business. Now, I don't care that it was exposed that hey, that it's store everything is written, everything is predetermined. That don't matter.
Yeah.
That don't matter. That right there was something that had to be overcome, and pretty much did overcome it to a certain point.
They did. They did.
You can overcome it as long as you have great shows. People want great shows. When you do that, your shows have to get better. If Vince is going to come out and say that, because Vince came out and said that he had a special, and he said it. It's just a show. It's just a show.
And the only reason he did it because he got tired of paying the tax on the commission.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is another thing that.
Exactly. Yeah, we got some things going on here in South Carolina. We're paying the South Carolina Commission. But man, look.
But he got tired of paying that money.
Yeah.
And he was like, you know what? If I say it ain't a sport, I ain't got to pay the taxes.
Yes.
And I ain't got to pay the fees and all fines and all that. So it's entertainment. It's not a sport. It's not a sport.
But there's no doubt in my mind. Neither one of us think that Vince McMahon, had in his mind that, hey, one day I want to crush this whole thing. Of course, he had like, hey, wrestling is his creation, and he's the one who made it big, which that is false in itself. Now he did make it bigger than what it was.
Yeah.
But hey, wrestling has always had huge audiences. It wasn't just in little dusty little
smoke-filled
bars and things like that. Like he was saying, that is false, man. So don't believe that. But hey, Chris, go ahead and get all these comments, man. And pretty much we're gonna wrap this thing up.
Well, we got one comment right here, man. It's like Greg Underwood said. They said the WWE Raw dropped 49% since the premiere on Netflix January 6th.
Yeah, that was, and that is even more now because they dropped another 100,000. Because last week they said it was 49% rate, but now it's got to be maybe 50% or a little bit more because it's down to 2.9. They started out 5.6.
Yeah, they
so what's the 5.6? What's the half of that?
Half of 5.6.
Let's see.
Oh God.
So 2.5, 2.5, 2.8.
Yeah, I was about to say
2.8. So yeah, they almost 50%. So it's still 49 point something. Because 2.8 is 5.6. So 2.8 million, they get to 2.8 million. That's 50% drop.
Yeah,
that's not good. That's not good at all.
But yeah, that's all that we pretty much got, man.
Yeah, as far as comments go. Okay, cool.
And it's almost time for us to actually get up out of here, man.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Because getting ready to shut down.
It's closing at 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah, I cannot call. I'll just have to call this person a little bit later.
Okay, guys.
It's late tonight. But yeah, we definitely appreciate each and every one of you coming in, rocking with the Straight Up Wrestling Show. But Chris, go ahead and go down these names of people, everybody that came through.
All right, we had Ray Underwood, Black Rain came in, Magnum came in, Jack Salem came in, Chris and Missy Childress came in.
Mm-hmm.
What was it? Snorton Cohen came in. Our boy Lucas came in, and who else came in here, man? Oh gosh, let me see that. My computer's freezing. I don't know what's going on with that. Who else? Oh, Will Raleigh Sport came in, and that was it.
All right, we appreciate everybody coming through, and I know a lot of you was watching AEW Dynamite, and I know a lot of you who watch AEW Dynamite came over here to check us out. We definitely appreciate that.
We definitely do.
And for my man Christopher Burton, I'm HBT. We are out of here, guys.
Straight up.
With our man, we got our man John. We got our man John right
booth,
here.
Man, running the recording and everything.
Jonathan Hargrove, and hey, we're gonna put this thing on Spotify, guys.
Yeah.
Audio on Spotify. We'll let you guys know. Give you a link when all that stuff goes down. But we'll talk to you guys later. Stay straight up.
Peace.